Whatever it is.
Evening. Yes, whatever it is, it's so many things. It's all those things. Let me just pull up the post for tonight with all the questions. Oh, that's very weird. Where's it gone? What the hell?
I've been looking up this TRS, Holly, while you've been doing. I've ordered it. I've joined the Facebook group, and I think it would be really good for me to take.
Yeah, we take it too. It's everyone should take it. We do it. Some of our kids are on it all the time, and we do it once a year just to do a detox for ourselves. We just use one whole bottle. I do it once a year, unless
Yeah,
I've also got another reason to do it. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, like it says, like it reading like to do it for 6 months because I've had the COVID vaccination. I've had all my vaccinations. I was in childcare for 18 years, and for us to work, we had to have
Mhm.
all those things, and like just like brain fog and exactly what it is. I was like, oh my God, that is all me. Like, holy shit. So I've ordered 3 bottles.
Good on
Uh,
you.
because I really think it'll be great for Ruby and Lucas. Oh, for all 4 kids really. But me as well, definitely.
Absolutely, it will be. It's amazing. It's amazing for lots of different reasons. But yep, absolutely. I'm glad that it's resonated. All right, really am. I really am, Christy. Good on you. You're making so many changes in your life. I'm pumped for you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. All right. So, some of you might have just saw the poster put out. Hello to you, Shelley. It's nice to meet you face to face. Shelley's brand new to the program, everybody. Everyone's waving. Hello, hello. Oh, hello, Miss Terry Ann. All right. So, some of you might have just saw the post I put out. So let me explain this. I said that I'd do it at the beginning of the call, just in case some people want to watch the beginning of the replay. So we announced the free webinar. Like, it's interesting. We started running some ads about 10 days ago. And after like a week of the marketing agency that we have doing some stuff for us, there were only like 120 people registered. So Dave went and stopped their ads and ran his own ad. And then I put it out on Facebook, as you know, yesterday. And now we have over 600. Okay. So that's excellent. Thank you to all of you who have shared that news. But I do want to give you guys a heads up. I've got a really big announcement to make to you guys, to people who are in my community. I'm not making it tonight. I'm just telling you, it is my intention to be able to make a fucking epic announcement. I want to do it on my birthday, which is the 18th of April. So like 16 days. Okay. So stay tuned. There's going to be some big things that I'm going to announce to you. There's lots of things we're working on at the moment, but and they'll come out in succession announcements, and they're epic, and you guys are going to love them. It's more value, it's easier to find things, all those things. And more support for you without any extra payments or anything like that. Just literally, more ability to help you. But I really am, without going through all the detail, yes, it's been about a 4 to 6 month journey to this moment, from 6 months ago when I received a really big message in a sacred ceremony that I did, around having a much bigger impact on the world. So finally, things have all been put in place, and I'm making the biggest announcement I've ever made. When I say I'm making the biggest announcement in my fucking career, I mean, like, I said to Dave, I think of who I was a year ago, and I was so far from considering an announcement like this. And I fucking love just how aligned and so centered and so ready for this I feel. It's amazing what can change in a year if you are, really, really get clear on your values, on your priorities, and all the things, that we did at Purpose Retreat, right? Like when, I took myself through that process that I taught all of you at Purpose Retreat, for those of you who came. And it's just like, I just, yeah, it's interesting. I can believe it's happening now, but if I think of even who I was, I don't know. I remember this moment in August when we found the marketing agency, and we were like trying to do some things with the business. And, I really wanted to, I was about to do a national tour just before COVID hit. And I used to travel a lot and do some work in schools and all that kind of stuff. And I was about to do a public tour. Literally, I was in the process of announcing it when COVID happened. And so I haven't been able to do that. So we're planning on me doing a national tour, in person in every city in, maybe June or July. So lots of things going to be happening. And as part of that and the bigger reach and going global and all this, I'm making a fucking big announcement tomorrow night. And I'm saying this to you because this will be, this group is going to change. Okay. So for those of you who have been here forever, it'll be the same culture, it'll be the same vibe, the same, all of that. But if I have it my way, my goal, my intention, I'm not stopping until we do. I want like 500 people a week on these calls. Okay. And so we're doing some big things to put that in play. The announcement that I'm making tomorrow night on the webinar is going to mean that there will be huge influxes of people joining the program and getting on the Zoom calls, okay, and being in the Facebook group. Like this whole thing is just going to vibe up, all right? So I'm not going to tell you what that announcement is, but tonight I'm here to really serve you and, answer the questions. Typically, up until now, I mean, it's always been my vision. I've always told you all, you're all spoiled, those of you who are in on the early days, because you get, a lot of, I guess, more attention, and we've been able to have the time to answer pretty much every question every week. And it's always been my goal to never be able to answer every question because there's just so many people. But what I've loved and what you guys have taught me, and I want to acknowledge you and thank you, that, it's interesting how the universe plans these things out and just synchronistically, they just happen seamlessly and effortlessly. You guys know I've shared very openly and transparently some of the fears that I worked through in my life last year. And for those of you in the conscious community in particular, I shared about how a fear that came up for me when I really started implementing a plan to go global was like being seen as someone who just wants a lot of money, or that doesn't give the same service they used to give, and feeling like I would let down people that are so used to just having all the time and attention. But then at the same time, I can't get the image out of my face that I was shown in my sacred ceremony of like the thousands of children that the message I got was like, we're waiting on you to get the message to our parents, and like our lives are counting on you being able to get that message to our parents. And so anyway, so the reason I'm saying that is through those, working through those fears of like, okay, so I want to go big and I want to like, really like epically make a difference to, millions of lives, not just hundreds or thousands. And so, what does that mean? That means things change. That means that, everything gets bigger and whatever. But what you have all helped me to really, it's been a big thing for the last month. I think it was last week or the week before, I'm trying to think now, was not last week, so I was in Cairns the week before, was the first time like ever since the inception of this program that we had no questions for the week that were put in the Facebook group, right? I put on the post. First time ever there hasn't been questions. And that was a very big validation for me. I had, really been doing some deep connecting of my own. And what I loved about that is that we had no questions. And I think it was 2 weeks before that, we only had one. I think, Christy, you were the only one with the question that week. So over the last month, there's been still a bunch of you getting on the calls, but there was like no question. But still, like 12 people showed up on the call that night. And what that did for me, and I'm just, I love to share my journey transparently with all of you, because I like you to see that, the edges I encourage you to lean into in your lives, that, I do that in my own life too. I'm not exempt from any of these fears or concerns or doubts sometimes. And so what that really validated for me, and I feel like what the universe, what God, for those of you who don't know me, I'm not religious, but I do absolutely believe in God. And what I was shown in that process was like this really deep feeling and this knowing of like the value that people believe and feel they get from just sitting on these calls without even asking their own question, because there were no questions. There's been so little questions for a month now, and still every week, we've got similar numbers, on the call. And so that showed me people aren't just showing up to just get their own question answered. That the value that I'm able to provide, helps everybody, whether it was your question or not. And what that did for me was really give me more peace around that fear of like, well, what if we really do go big and we have like 1,000 people join really quite fast, and then like I can't keep up with all the questions, and then people think like, oh, I'm not getting the same value. And that showed me, Holly, people get the value. Like the value is in just listening to you, answer whatever the questions are, because they don't even have questions and they still come to the call. So this is, oh yes, Miss Nicole. I'll look. Let me look at your comments in a second. I want to get distracted. So yeah, this is big. This is what's happening. I mean, yeah, I anticipate that in the next week we'll have 50 to 100 people join the program. Okay. And when 50 to 100 people are all inspired and brand new and like want to change the way that they parent, and I'm going to be fucking doing something big for Mother's Day for the whole month of May because of Mother's Day. Like I'm just lowering barriers for anyone to fucking help themselves and help their children. And for me to be able to, I feel like to some degree I save the lives of children through how I'm able to help their parents raise them. Because if it saves their self-esteem, if it saves who they believe they are, then that feels like I've saved their life. And so, yeah, there's lots of big things happening and it's exciting and I love you and all that, but I wanted to really be here and connect with you all tonight. I feel like I want to look back on this later and be like, oh, I'm so glad I had this little chat with you all. And this was our last little, cozy group that we've got before it just, went crazy and whatever. And like I said, I've got some announcements coming. So tomorrow night's announcements are for new people, not you guys. They're for new people. And nothing changes for you guys. But I've also got announcements coming soon for existing people. Okay. So it's going to be fucking epic. You're so amazing, Marlon. And you are someone, you and Martine and Magda, are people that have been here for like years. Nicole, Amanda, like years. Martine was actually in my very first ever beta test of this program. And then after that, I got some feedback and then I made some changes. And then I ran a second beta test program just to test the new changes I'd gone and fixed and made. And Magda came in on that one. That was in 2020, January 2020. The whole program launched and was invented in like September, October 2019. So, okay, let me see. The instant feeling I got was, oh no, there won't be enough time for us anymore. That's the deal. You know what, you guys, like you've had your time, you've had all the chances in the world to be on these calls and get every bit of advice that you've ever wanted until now. And so, yeah, there will be less chance for you to get your specific questions answered. There will be a situation that we all have to adjust to, myself included, where there'll be 100 questions and we're only going live for, an hour 15, maybe an hour and a half. You guys know I like to cap it off at an hour and a half. So that will be one of the adjustments. But there's new announcements coming for those of you who need something really big and, like high level help or something like that. The group will still operate the same, where you can ask for help. And don't worry, when I tell you the next announcement, I can't say it now. Just let me sit with it, okay? But there is something going to happen that will mean that you get more help, okay? So, all right, let's go to the questions. Let me just quickly squeeze at what you've said. Thank you. Oh, I love you guys, how you're so supportive. Oh, Al, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. And that is it. I literally had the faces of the children who are like, you need to get the message to my mom, like unknown children, millions of them. I had them looking at me at the same time that in my mind, I had like you guys looking at me. And I'm like, if I have to make a choice, I mean, I love you guys, but I'm gonna go with these kids every time. It's not enough to just be helping, a couple hundred people or, even less, whatever. So breeze through supporting Xander through the death of his pop being on the calls. Yeah, it's so true, Nicole. You really did. You really did. Yeah. And it would have been a very different situation, when I met you, for sure. Others questions always help, questions I can't think of. Yeah, so true, Amanda. That's what a couple of people literally said to me that I've been just, chatting to incidentally lately. Thank you for that validation. And Marlon, the instantly got, wasn't it? And then it hit me with the more people we have, the more. Exactly, Terry Ann, exactly. We have and others, 100%. And the vibe, the community, the culture, it's going to be just ridiculous. Okay. Like, those of you that have known me for a while, you know what happens when I have these new visions, and I know when to protect a vision and when to, to hold it closely and silently for a certain time, and I know when it's ready to just be birthed. So at the moment, I'm protecting the vision a little bit, but don't worry, it's coming. And thank you. You're exactly right, and it's just the vibe in this whole community is going to be better than we can imagine. Yes, Lib, we should have time. I think there's only a couple of questions, so we should. Thank you. Yeah, true. Validating for things you know. Yes, there is so many that will help in the group. And that's another reason I feel so confident, Nicole. I know, and I've watched. I have done this in stages, this vision. It's been so big that it's scared me. And I'm like, how will I do it? How will I help? How will I answer? And I had to let myself little by little, step back a bit in this group and trust and have faith that the community was able to support each other. And that is also another reason why I feel so ready to do it, because there's been so many times where I see a post in this group and I go to answer it, but before I get to it, there's already answers in the comments. And those answers, I'm like, fucking hell, that's like what I would have said. Like, that's what I was just about to type. Or, I feel like I'm almost reading my own words. Or sometimes I'm like, man, I wouldn't have even said it that good. So, all of this is, it's just, I feel so aligned and so grateful for all of you. Yes, I did. Sorry, Terry Ann. I halfway through your comment, and I was like, went off on a tangent. Next generation, more important. I love the first pill. Oh, so good, Shelley. I'm going to get to this. This normally doesn't happen on our calls. I know this is your first ever Zoom call. Oh, so good. Oh, you forgot to collect your kids from school. Oh, okay. There's enough. Exactly, Terry Ann. There's enough here to help light other people's candles and assist too. Thank you. You guys are the best. You guys feel like family. All right, let's do our questions. I've talked enough. I'm so fucking excited. I could just talk all night. But anyway, let's talk all night, but just not about that. So, okay, Christy, let's go to you. I want to just I know I suggested a little bit. So your question is around Lucas, who's your 9-year-old, who has suffered with anxiety. And for those of people watching the replay, the background on that is, you have 4 children. They all have ASD. Lucas is the 9-year-old. And so he's suffered with anxiety, but he is neurodivergent and, processes things differently. And you've been trying to get him off medication, and you've tried all these different therapies, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and then you started saying about how he has poor dental health from not brushing his teeth, right? And he has to go under anesthetic to get dental treatment, all of these things. I just want to say one thing on that. I'm not going to do a conversation on this. You know that I love opportunities to disrupt the way that we think, or to absolutely stomp on bullshit beliefs sometimes that we get fed and that we get taught. And I just want to say something here, okay? I'm not saying that it's not important to brush your teeth, but I am saying if you go deep into the research in all of that, it is not true that you end up with really poor mental health to the point that it requires surgery because you don't brush your teeth, okay? Is it beneficial to brush your teeth? It is, okay? However, what causes decay in teeth? So what it typically means, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of my physiology background here, but is that his body is very low on minerals. Because when the body is low on minerals, it takes minerals from wherever it can get it, and the first place it takes it from is teeth and bones, okay? So rotten teeth are not because of not brushing your teeth. Doesn't mean you can't get some sore gums and all this stuff, but rotten teeth, like back before toothbrushes and whatever, we never brushed our teeth. The thing that cleaned our teeth was eating good food, eating apples and things. And when you bite into an apple, it pushes your gums up, it cleans the teeth, all of this, okay? So I just want to let you know, I'm not going to go deep into it, but it means he's very low on minerals, and that's why his body is pulling minerals out of his teeth, okay, to be able to function. And it's interesting that you've felt so resonated with the TRS spray that helps take heavy metals out of the body, because one of the reasons our bodies get low on minerals, and I'm not going to go into an anti-vax conversation here, but it is because of vaccinations, because I'm not, you make your own choice. I don't judge you if you vaccinate. Whatever's right for you is right for you. But there are heavy metals in vaccinations, and heavy metals in our body put our body in a situation where it depletes our minerals. Okay. So everything that you're looking into right now around all of that is great. And just know there's nothing more important for him than what he eats. Okay. I just want you to really know that what he eats.
Yeah, and see, Lucas has been my really big picky eater. He's got iron deficiency, like you name it. He's underweight. And we've tried like all
He's
these
low on
different
zinc.
things.
He's low on calcium. Does he eat? Listen, let me ask you this: does he eat celery by any chance?
No, so that's probably one salad he doesn't eat. He is my big salad person, but he's also a food sucker. So he sucks on his food. Used to love tomatoes and cucumber, but now they're even hard to get into him. He's found pasta salad, and I hate that because I just feel that
Yep.
it's just another more chemical thing that I'm giving him instead of more natural fruits. Like I'm going through a naturopath and eating my proper foods, and I'm trying to get them to do it. And he's the only one that refuses to try anything.
Stay with it, babe. Okay, you are like, it's funny. Actually, recently I caught up with Libby. Me and Libby had lunch together for her birthday, and actually you came up in our conversation, and Libby even said, "Oh, how good is Christy doing?" I just want to say, like, far out, she's changed since she first joined the program. So keep going.
Thanks,
We don't have to
guys.
go into that deep conversation, but it'll take some time. Just hang in there. Never give up on that. And just know, if dentists say, oh, he doesn't brush his teeth enough, I get it. Like if he's having sugars and stuff, yes, that's part of it. Don't get me wrong, if there's sugars left on the teeth. But I also know that that's something you're being mindful of and whatever. And I just want you to know that, yeah, decaying teeth is like a minerals. Okay. So he needs
Yeah,
minerals.
and I've always been like, my childcare background was always big of no sugar, no soft drinks. And so the kids really don't have that much stuff. And it's just funny how he's the one that keeps on having all these problems as well. Like, it's just like, where's it coming from? I'm like, must be from there. His father's got bad dental, and so then I started doing the blame game. And then no, what you've just said, yeah, is definitely it. Like, he is low on minerals everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Okay, that's good. So long as you know that, it's not just a brushing teeth problem. Okay.
No,
I just
yeah.
don't want you to cause trauma to him, getting him to brush his teeth, and then you're like, this is why your teeth are so bad, and this is why you need to have operations. Have those conversations around the food he eats, not whether or not he brushes his teeth. Okay.
I did try and get him brushing his teeth tonight. I went and spent like $50 on an Oral-B toothbrush to try and just help it. And mum ended up coming upstairs. She goes, stop. She goes, do you know how much that hurts? Like, and his mouth was like just bleeding. Like it was sore for him. And mum's like, she goes, I've had it before. You've got to stop. You've got to stop. Like,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. So long as you know that and you're working on it, all of that, I totally get it. And I mentioned to you in my comment today that like excessive teeth grinding is almost a guaranteed sign of parasites. You said that you got in those little those parasite tablets or whatever.
yeah.
And yeah, even if you have to
The
crush them.
Cleanse ones, hey, that's the ones that.
Yeah, VitaCleanse. They're good.
Yeah.
If you and like he doesn't have to have them like that. Like you can crush them up and put them in a smoothie or something, or put them in whatever you can get into him, whatever he is willing to eat. So it doesn't have to be taken as a tablet. You can crush
I
it up.
just rather take it as a tablet because sometimes he's not even eating all his food. So just to make sure that
As long as he's doing it, that's fine. If he stops taking it, just you can hide it in whatever food you need to. Definitely. So you said my question is, how do I pinpoint what is causing him to grind his teeth? All right. I almost guarantee you it's parasites, right? A big thing. And you said, how do I help him with dentist trauma, right? So he hates there and refuses to open up. I'm always bribing him with stuff I shouldn't. And I love your honesty, your transparency, when you can own, I know I'm not doing it right, but what else do I do? Okay.
it was like today, I'm like, if you open up, I'll just buy you Powerade. Like, just open up, like saying anything I could to just get him to open up.
Yeah.
So the trauma, I believe, came back when he was 4. He had these back teeth and they had abscesses on them. And when we went to the dentist, they opened it up and they pressed straight onto it.
Ooh.
And so like they wanted to find out where the pain was coming from, and they've pushed straight onto it. And then we had pain, like mouth pain, for about a week. He was on antibiotics. Then we went to
Um,
the kids pediatric dentist. So we saw three different dentists, and they all pretty much did the same thing to him. Then we went to the
so
pediatric dentist and put him under to get all that work done for him.
can I suggest something? They're not easy to find, but you are manifesting, you're a manifesting queen lately. So I'm going to suggest this, that first of all, you find a holistic dentist. They do exist in Adelaide. There's only like two that I personally know of, and they were hard to find. One of my kids, Bea, used to grind, and she ground her teeth right down, like her baby tooth right down as well. And yeah, so look for a holistic dentist. So number one, these people understand and they totally respect natural health. So they don't use fluoride and things like that. They use alternative things that aren't fucking toxic chemicals that are going in our children. And they also know and support where they can alternatives to antibiotics and all these kind of things. So just look for a holistic dentist, okay? And with regards to the trauma, let's go into that conversation, right? Because the rest is going to take time. No matter how perfect you try to be, there's going to be a journey, okay? And you're on the path, you're fine. So with regards to trauma, and with this whole fear around going to a dentist, okay, the most important thing, remember, trauma is nothing other than an unmet need, okay? And so there's a difference between you putting him in a situation that creates trauma for him and you putting him in a situation that he hates, but bad luck, sometimes we have to do things we don't like, okay? And it's okay that he might have to be forced to do something for the greater good of his health, right? And that doesn't necessarily cause trauma. Trauma does not come from, no, I don't want to do it, and then you forced me, okay? So what can create trauma in that situation is feeling lied to, feeling unheard, feeling unseen, feeling, powerlessness can create trauma. However, so the bottom line is that you need to do is tell him what is going to happen before it happens, okay? And this is even like if kids have needles or something and they've got phobias. It's like, listen, I know this is not fun, and I know it's scary, and I know it hurts, okay? And unfortunately, sometimes we have to do things that hurt and are scary for the greater good of our health. I am in a position as your parent to do what I believe to be the best thing I can possibly do for you. And right now, that means you have to get this done on your tooth. Now, listen, you have a choice. Okay. I remember doing this with Miami when she was 4 years old and she split her chin like so far open, you could literally see the bone there. And she had to get stitches. And so I said to her, Mama, listen to me. You have a choice. Okay. We have to put a needle in your chin. It has to have stitches. There is no choice there. It needs stitches. Okay. And you're going to get stitches. So you have a choice. You can either lay really still, or I will have to hold you down. Me and the nurses, if you can't lay still, we're going to have to hold you down. I don't want to have to hold you down. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm telling you the truth. Either you got two choices. You lay there and you get a couple of little stings with an anesthetic that'll make it all go numb, and then you won't even feel it while they do the stitches, but you will feel the little sting of the needle until it goes numb. Or if you don't want to have that needle, we can do the stitches. We can do it without that, but it means you're going to have to deal with the pain of getting the stitches. Do you want the needle or do you want the stitches? She chose to get the stitches without the needle, and she stayed so perfectly still. And I also helped, like I just held her little face, just because then, there's also a reaction that you can't help when you're like, like you just, jolt away or whatever. And she laid there at 4 years old and got 4 stitches without any anesthetic. Okay. Now, what that comes down to is you having an energetic field that is strong and solid and matter of fact. Not in our nurturing feminine mother zone where we're like, oh, I hate that you have to go through this. I do that later. What he needs is, this is the deal. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. And then what you do is I like literally just did this with Miami recently at a dentist. Because the dentists, like, they all expect they expect all kids to have the same fears. And so they try to like not tell them, oh, don't worry, it'll just be a little sting, it won't hurt too much, or this, and they fucking lie. And then the kids, what causes trauma is they can't trust anything. Like, if I have to do something, just tell me, listen, it's going to hurt, it's going to sting, and it's probably going to take about 5 or 6 minutes. Okay. And we don't know exactly, but probably at least 5 minutes. If you need us to stop, I will sit here and I'll hold your hand. And if you need a break for a few seconds, ask the dentist if, things like this can happen. Just try to give him any opportunity to have some power. So listen, this is going to happen, and either you choose to let it happen or we're going to have to hold you down. And if we have to put you a little bit to sleep to get it done safely, we will do that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm telling you the truth of what's going to happen. Okay. So I will hold your hand, and if you squeeze my hand, then that means, that you just want to break for a second. And so we can do a couple of minutes and then we can break. So he gets some power of like, okay, can you give me a minute? Can you stop for 20 seconds? Okay. And then go again, for example, if they've got something big. But also, you need to speak to the dentist in front of him so that he knows and feels like you are so much on his team. Okay. So when they did Miami, like they hold because obviously the needle's only this big, but it's in one of those big holders that's freaking looks like a tool out of the shed, right? And that's scary. And it's just got this needle in the end. So, and they try to hide it and like try to bring it behind their eyes and like, all of this. And I say, no, don't do that to her. Can you please tell her what's going to happen? Show her the needle. Let her see it. Mama, see this thing? The whole thing's not a needle. See just that little bit that is the needle. And it's going to go into your gum like literally about this far. The whole needle doesn't go in. It's just enough to get the anesthetic, and it's going to sting while we do that. But you can handle this. You can do hard things. Once that's done, you're not going to feel the rest. You'll feel some tugging and some pulling, but there's not going to be pain. Okay. This is how we have to do it. And so totally like educate them, like let them look at it, let them see it, let them know what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. And then after that, I'm going to get you to do a mouthwash, and then I'm going to get you to spit it in here. Then you're going to have to lay back, and we're going to have to. So the more that you literally make an attempt to educate him, and like when the dentist ever says things like, oh, it won't hurt too much, to say to him, Lucas, it probably is going to hurt, mate. Okay. Please don't tell him it's not going to hurt. Let's tell him the truth. It's going to hurt. Okay. And if you focus on the pain, it will hurt more, because what we focus on expands. Okay. Here's what I know. I know you can handle it. And I know that whether you get this needle or not, your mouth hurts anyway. It hurts at home. It hurts when you eat dinner. It hurts over here. And guess what? It's going to hurt now, but it hurts anyway. So just help give him like a little bit of a perspective that he can like cling to as like and it gives him some kind of power in knowing that, okay, you hear me and you see me. Like, you see my fear. This is scary for me. The reason he doesn't want to go to the dentist is not because it hurts. It's because he can't trust it. And they broke his trust. And you say in front of the dentist, Lucas, here's what's going to happen, mate. You're going to lay down and listen. And I like get real good eye contact. Listen to mummy. Are you listening? And you be strong and firm and grounded in your stance. Listen, the dentist is not going to do anything to you without telling you first. Okay? Because I'm the boss here, because I'm your mum and I'm the parent. And I'm saying this in front of the dentist so that this dentist knows before they do anything, they're going to tell you. And you tell the dentist like that in front of him. So the dentist is like, shit, who the hell's this parent? Okay.
It's funny you say that, because the dentist we had today did exactly that. Like, he said to Lucas, I'm not going to take a tooth out. I'm not going to pull anything. I'm just going to give you a dental check and just see where your pain's coming from, mate. And he was like, really? And everything goes, all right, this is a bit of air that's going on. This is a bit of water. Like,
yep,
he was fantastic.
And they need to say, see this thing, I need you to wash your mouth out. I mean, I don't think it tastes that bad, but you might. So some people think it tastes bad. Some people think it's not. I mean, it's just an opinion. You don't have to say, yeah, this doesn't taste good, or, oh, this tastes fine. Don't lie. Just go, I don't know what you're going to think about this, but regardless, you have to have it anyway. Okay.
The
So
only thing I didn't like when they did the check and the clean, they just put the fluoride straight on without even asking first. And I just, after doing my research tonight, I was like, oh my God, fluoride's actually really bad for us.
have you ever seen a fluoride bottle? It has if you see fluoride like anywhere that's got contains fluoride or in tanks or whatever, you know, in water treatments and things like that, it has the big hazard like skull freaking sign, the caution, like you know, almost looks like some bloody, you know, bomb type like caution. Like that is how poisonous fluoride is. And fluoride calcifies our pineal gland. That's why they put it in our water, to make us all fucking dumb, so we can't think for ourselves, okay? Because that's our third eye, and that's where our connection to intuition and all that comes from. And fluoride calcifies our pineal gland, and you know that's how the masses.
So
That's
is there
how they controlled the
toothpaste out
Jews
there
in the Nazis.
that doesn't contain fluoride?
Is there what?
Is there toothpaste out there that
Yes,
doesn't
it's the only
contain?
one that I would ever touch. Oh my God, there's like, and Grant's has got a bit too much sugar, but it tastes better. But we use Red Seal. But yeah, there's lots out there. You can look at lots of different companies. Type in fluoride-free toothpaste and they're everywhere. But yeah, definitely get rid of fluoride. Yep. They used fluoride in the Nazi concentration camps. They put it in the water to literally stop them from escaping because you can't think for yourself. Like it dumbs us down. It's how it makes it easy for them to control, which is why they put fluoride in our fucking water and go, oh yeah, it's good for your teeth. Oh yeah, because the government really give a fuck about our teeth. But that's the bullshit they said to make us all not question why the hell they're putting fluoride in our water. Okay? Anyway, don't get me started with, you know, my passion for that stuff, okay? So just know that that's the only thing that will ever cause a child trauma is broken trust, unmet expectations, not feeling seen and heard. It doesn't matter how traumatic the situation is that they have to go through. When Miami broke her ankle, you know, it's not very comfortable to have to move your leg in a position with a broken bone inside when you have to get an x-ray, right? So you say, listen, mama, it's going to hurt, okay? It's not going to be fun for the next 5 or 10 minutes until we get all these, and I would say to the radiographer, how many photos do we need to get of her leg? How many different angles? Oh, probably about 4 or 5, just depends what I can see. Mama, however long it takes to do 4 or 5 photos is how long this is going to take, okay? And it's not going to feel good and you're going to feel pain. You have a broken ankle. That's going to hurt. But guess what? Your body can cope with pain. Your body has magic inside. It knows how to release different hormones and chemicals to help you manage the pain, okay? What you need to manage is your mind and your thoughts, okay? You are okay. It is painful, but you are okay.
And how do I overcome, like, so Lucas, he goes, no, I can't, no, I can't, no, I can't. Like, he's a very negative, no self-esteem child.
Yeah, I get that. So you just say to him, listen, the reason you can't is only because you believe you can't. I believe you can. In fact, I know you can. And when you change that exact belief, everything's going to feel different for you. For as long as you feel like you can't do this, this will always feel harder. Things always feel harder when we tell ourselves we can't do them. When we open up to the fact that maybe we can do, just maybe we can do them, it feels different straight away. So you get to choose how much this hurts. Because if you choose to focus on how much you can't do it and you have to do it anyway, then in making that choice to choose that thought and that belief, you are making this harder for yourself and it will hurt more than it would hurt if you chose to believe, okay, it's going to hurt, but I can do it. I'm tough. I'm tough. I'm tough. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Rather than I can't. So give him, remember, it's easier to replace a thought or a belief than it is to erase a thought. So instead of telling him not to think that, tell him what to think. Yeah. Tell your brain, I can, I'm okay. It's not long. Hold it. And you give him words that he can say the same way that he's like, oh, no. It's the same, but they're just different words. And those words from his subconscious mind, remember, our subconscious literally instructs every cell in our body. It literally sends intelligent instructions to the cells in our body on how they need to behave and react. Okay. And so, like, this is all, quantum physics and everything. Okay. So the words that he chooses to say, or for as long as he's not saying them, you be the inner voice. You put the voice in his head. When he's like, no, 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 it hurts, it hurts, you go, it's okay, it's okay. Your body can handle it. Your body knows what to do. It's okay. You're okay. You are safe. Oh, but I'm not. Yes, you can. I believe you can. You can do this. Lucas, you are doing this. Stay still, stay still. And so you just override his voice with a voice that eventually will become his inner voice.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I've had 13 broken bones in my life. I did lots of, motorbike riding and horses and blah, blah, blah growing up, and had lots of broken bones. And, and I'm telling you that just words, just what you'll say, like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. I'm okay, I'm okay. And it's like fucking killing you while they're like trying to reset your wrist or realign a dislocation or something. You're like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. Like, it's like it takes the same energy to say that, and I'm telling you, it changes the experience. Okay? Teach him that. Okay? Awesome. All right, darling, let us know how you go with that. All right. Does that help you for tonight? And I just want to take the guilt away from you from trauma. He has to do this, bad luck. That's the deal. And you need to set him up for it. And then if he's like, I'm not going to listen, Lucas, here's the deal. There's no questions. We are going to the dentist. We're going tomorrow. I know you don't like it. This is where he feels seen and feels heard and feels, I know you don't like it. I know it's scary. And I know that in the past, dentists have hurt you. And what's really unfair about how they hurt you is they didn't tell you what they were going to do. And you laid there trusting them, and then they hurt you. And I'm sorry for that. I didn't know how to be a better mum, and now I do. I'm going to be talking to the dentist before they even touch your mouth tomorrow. And you listen to what I say to the dentist. I'm going to be telling them they are not to do anything to you until they tell you or show you, or at least tell you what they're going to do. And if you want to see what they're going to do, you can ask, can I please see it? And if you want to see the needle, you can see the needle. Okay. If you don't want to see the needle, they can just say, Lucas, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to put a little needle in your gum to make it go numb so I can fix this. And it's up to you. So I will be making sure from now on, no one does anything to your body without telling you what's about to happen. And if he can rely on that, like, you start giving him a whole new level of confidence and building back his trust for life. Okay?
So it's just about the grinding the teeth. Like, so we think it's going to be parasite related. Like, it's something he's always done since he was 2, or is it anxiety, or do I just take the
Parasites cause anxiety as well. He's got a ruined gut. He's been on antibiotics all his life. So as you've vaccinations and antibiotics, like, it doesn't matter, even though there's good sides to them, don't get me wrong. Like, but it's an absolute fact that they ruin our gut. Okay. Like, it's not even an opinion. You can't go, oh, well, I don't believe in gravity. Well, whether you believe it or not, it fucking exists. And that's the deal. Something holds you to the earth, and it's called gravity, whether you believe it or not. And if you don't believe it, walk off the roof and see what happens to you. Somehow you'll hit the ground, right? And so it's the same kind of thing. They absolutely do. The side effects, or whatever you want to call them, is that they do ruin our gut health. And once our gut is ruined, like, there's more of a brain in our gut than there is in our head. And so our body gets all of its messages from the gut. 90% of all the happy hormones and all that are created in the gut, like 80% of serotonins, and 72% or something of, like, dopamines and endorphins and things like that. Okay. So, like, you've got a bit of a journey ahead of you, and that's okay. It just is what it is. All right. But, all he really needs is to know what to expect, and to know that he can trust at least you, that he can trust your word. And if ever if you've told him, I'm going to make sure the dentist tells you everything before they do it, and if ever they don't, you need to speak up, no matter how uncomfortable you feel, no matter what tendency you might have to people please and be polite to the dentist. You need to be there to literally be in defense of your child. And so
I'm pretty sure my people pleasing part of me is over.
I think so too. You've done pretty good, right? And you don't have to make it awkward and be a bitch about it, right? You can go, excuse me, can we just make sure we tell him everything? I mean, everything. And then if they don't, like, yeah, and yeah, just say whatever. Like if they're like, oh, you go, oh, that wasn't very fair, was it, Lucas? Yeah, I think the dentist forgot to tell. Excuse me, ma'am, can you just remember that we need to tell him everything before it happens? I don't want my son having to deal with something he didn't expect. So if you're going to touch a spot in his gum that's red and sore and swollen, tell him, Lucas, I just need to touch around this area, mate, and I need to find where it's really sore. And to find where it's really sore, it means I have to touch the sore spot. So at some point, this is going to hurt. I don't know exactly when it's going to hurt, but at some point, it is going to hurt. And I need you to tell me when it hurts. And this is how me and you work as a team. Because once you tell me where it hurts the most, that's where I know where I need to fix it the most. So, like, the dentist might not know that something's going, but if they just approach it in that way, or you say that to him with the dentist hearing in third person, they will take on your lead with the child.
Okay.
Okay?
So I
Cool.
just guess, I'm sorry, guys. With him having this gum infection disease, he's on antibiotics at the moment for it. I can't brush his teeth because it hurts so much, and he doesn't want to eat much. Is there any ideas from anybody, like not just you, Holly, but from anybody that's be able to help me
I
heal
don't
it?
know what they're saying, okay? I don't know the state of his teeth, but if you ask me just for an opinion, and I'm not any expert on this, right, on teeth, but if that was my child, I'd be canning the whole idea of brushing their teeth. I would look for maybe a mouthwash or something that we can put that's antibacterial. I mean, I make a lot of potions. Like Baya said today, oh, Mama, I feel like they've been away skiing all weekend and whatever. And she said, oh, I feel like I'm getting a bit of a cold. So I chop up an onion and, put whatever, make a sugar thing on top, and after like 3 hours it makes a juice, and now she'll eat that, and by the morning she'll be 100% no cold and no cough and blah blah blah, right? So, but I've been doing this for a long time, so my kids are kind of used to it. But I would go research, like, natural anesthesia, or like what you can give him that might be a mouthwash that still can help remove some bacteria. I mean, the other thing is though, yeah, I mean, if he's not eating too badly at the moment or something like that, then I'm just like, if brushing his teeth is causing that much pain, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how bad his teeth are, how important it is that tooth gets washed, if a mouthwash would be enough, or why it's so important to brush his teeth if he's got that much disease and they're worn down that far. Like that
Yeah, like it's
feels
pretty
traumatic
bad.
just for me to hear that. Like, I feel like our bodies are more intelligent than any doctor, and I feel like our body is trying to say, like, don't do this to me. But then, I know sometimes we have to do things that that aren't nice to do. So yeah, I can't help you exactly on that, but all I'm going to say is there's always answers, there's always other alternatives, there's always other solutions. We just need to kind of lead the research on that.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Oh,
And
there's
just
been
so
a
you
couple
know,
of
Nicole
comments, so
left
I just
a comment for you on TRS, because her son at like 2 years old was like basically diagnosed non-verbal, and was headed for autism as well. And as you know, she already has 2 other children that have ASD. And she got him on TRS spray. I told her about it. She got him on TRS spray. He's the most developmentally normal for his age child you've ever seen. Like, was it about, Nicole? Was it about like something like 4 or 5 weeks, and he'd gone from being non-verbal to having a vocabulary of like 32 words or something in something like 4 or 5 weeks? I remember when you came to the retreat, just by being on TRS spray, just by removing heavy metals, particularly from the blood-brain barrier. Yeah. Okay. So
wow.
you're on the right track, babe. You can use TRS as almost like, ask Lana. You can use it straight in his mouth and it'll like clean up his mouth. So the other thing I would use is colloidal silver. I use it a lot. And when you go to a holistic dentist, they do this. Alexandra Van Eck, Scott and Alexandra that were at Happy to Whole retreat with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So Alexandra just had a big tooth operation-y thing, whatever, last week, and she's big on being natural. And she told the dentist, because she couldn't get to the holistic dentist, but she told them, I'll only be mouthwashing with silver. And they were fine. She just took her own silver along, and the only thing that she mouthwashed with was silver. Look up colloidal silver, and that's how they cured scurvy on the bloody
What's it called?
colloidal silver, COLLOIDAL OIDAL. You get it from a health food store. Make sure you get the practitioner grade. So it's like a bit more potent. And I use it on I mean, you can drink it and it'll just clean out, like if there's any bugs in your body, bacteria or whatever, it'll kill them.
So it's fine for him to swallow that one because the
Yeah, you
mouthwash
can
he
drink
was
it.
trying
Yeah,
to
especially if
do.
it's a spray, 100%. You can drink like 20, 30 mils. You spray it on your dogs, any skin rashes, anything. You can drink it, you can use it topically, whatever. It's like antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial, antiseptic. It's anti everything, and there's like no side effects. The only side effect that you can even find if you Google it is your skin can turn fucking, what is it, purple or green if you have too much of it. But that means you're drinking like a whole bottle. And even if it turns purple, it's fine. I mean, you just need to, stop using it. Okay.
Hey, purple's a nice color anyway. I would love to be
Is it
purple.
purple or green that your skin turns? It might be. I think. Anyway, I'm going to get on to next questions, but yes, get colloidal silver and use that as his toothpaste type thing. Like spray it in his mouth, get him to gargle it, get him to, if he's full of antibiotics and infections, I would definitely be getting him to drink some of that. Ask your naturopath, Christy. Ask your naturopath what dose he needs. I don't know his dose for a 9-year-old that's actually got shit going on. But once a month, I always gave my kids, 15 mils, 20 mils or something, just in a drink of water or whatever, once a month, just to any bacteria or something going on the inside will just be cleaned out. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh yeah. Oil pulling too. Yeah. Very good point, Nicole. Yeah. It turns blue. Yeah. Shirley, you would know that for sure. Yeah. Your skin turns, blue, purple. Yeah. Oh, good. Libby said she's got a handout from a health food shop. She'll send a pic. Okay. All right. Cool. Let me go back to the questions. Oh yes, Elle, let's talk about Larry, and then I'll come to you, Lib. Hello, darling.
No.
Hello. I love this. I love that Larry is, very, really engaged as a dad. I know you've always said he's a great, fun dad. And I love that he's like, how do I be better with boundaries and still be the fun dad? Yeah. And so what I would suggest is that you talk to Larry. Is Larry, is he listening to this, or is he with you? Or
I can, but Eden's also up.
No, you don't
but
have
he
to.
doesn't want to.
That's fine. That's fine. So let me say it in the way that I think you should say it. I think what you need to do is say, babe, the most important thing is that as a dad, you help our children become good. We raise them to be good people. You don't just raise them to like you. Okay. They will like, it's important that they like you, of course, but they can't just like you, because as the man and as the head of the family, it is really important that we prepare our children for life. And in life, our kids will be given boundaries. And if our kids don't know how to handle boundaries, we are setting them up for torture when they go off to school, for example, because at home we've had no boundaries, we're all flaky, whatever. And then they go out to the real world at some point and they're like, whoa, what is happening? And that's really unfair. So there can be fun dad, play dad, all of that. And then there needs to be parent dad, as in, hey, like, we're done for now. Like, and he can still, I love how he like knows how to redirect EJ's mind and like, let's race to the car and, get him to do who's going to get there first. All those things are fine. What I would suggest, if he's already got that connection with EJ, like just for it to get a result right now and wean off this long term, okay, is that he like, let's say he has to go and have dinner, instead of just saying, right, we're finished playing, no more playing, it's time for dinner. What he can say is he can do what he's already doing and be like, come on, quick, let's eat our dinner. I want to play one more game. Let's play wrestling, but we have to have our dinner first. Quick, come on, let's go eat our dinner. Let's eat everything. And then after dinner or after bath, then he can give him something as an incentive to do it, especially while Larry is learning how to navigate his own feelings around not always being the fun dad and having to just start to implement boundaries. If it feels too much of a shock to Larry, he won't be able to maintain that. So he can still do it in his fun dad way and give him something to look forward to after, when we've done that, here's what we can do. So it could be like, it's time for bed. Let's go get dressed. Come on, let's get dressed. And once you're dressed, I can either give you a piggyback ride or I can give you an aeroplane ride to bed. Do you want to, like you said, do you want to fly or do you want to walk, right? And so he can use that still, but it happens after. The other thing I'm going to suggest is that, Larry, have you already taught him and told him about using the timer thing? So the time clock thing when he plays with him?
Yeah, I think he suggested that before, but we haven't actually used the proper
Is
time.
Larry open to trying that?
As in, like, I think he'd use a timer on his phone more than.
Yeah. So
is that what you mean?
Yeah, I do, because that's another way that Larry can start to implement boundaries and shift this little dynamic that's got that he's got going on with EJ. So he needs to. I would highly suggest that at least once or twice a day, and even more if he's playing with him all the time. Sometimes it's let's just play until we're done, and sometimes just for the sake of the exercise, there's a timer on playing. So that, remember, the purpose of the timer is, hey, mummy, what time's dinner ready? How many more minutes? Oh, you're like, I'll be ready in about 10 minutes. All right, EJ, let's set the timer for 8 minutes. So we're going to play for the whole time for 8 minutes. But when the timer goes off, we need to help out mummy because she's making us a very special dinner and we need to be at the table, and maybe we can help mummy set the table. Maybe you can put the knives and the forks out or something. Like, give him something else he can go to instead of just breaking his attention here and saying, that's it, it's over. Redirect his attention into, cool, let's go do the knives and forks. Would you like to carry the sharp ones? You can carry the knives, and give him, butter knives to carry or whatever, right? So the risk is low. And so then the biggest thing about this is that it's not, time isn't up when, like, dad doesn't stop the fun. The timer stops the fun. So when the timer goes off, right, and he can even get TJ to like turn it to 8 or push on my button, press the number 8 and let's set it for 8 minutes or whatever. And then when it goes off, Larry's like on his side. So he's like, oh no, the time is finished. Oh, I was having so much fun. But we made mummy a promise. We have to be ready for our dinner. We have to keep our word with each other. And this was something we agreed on. So let's go have our dinner and then let's do, racing cars to the bathroom. So then you can put his mind on the next thing that he gets to do. This is to also help Larry. Once Larry's getting comfortable with these boundaries, I would definitely encourage him to go stronger on boundaries until he can get to the place with, hey, you want to play? We're going to make an agreement. They're not rules, they're agreements. We're going to make an agreement, and he can be like, come on, man to man, let's shake hands, or whatever flavor he wants to add to the way he parents. Hey, we're going to make an agreement. We're going to play this game. But we have to make an agreement that we do X, Y, Z, that we've only got 5 minutes, or we're only playing the game one time, not 3 times, one time. Do you agree on that? Are you giving me your word? All right, I'm giving you my word, and you give me your word. So then when it gets to the one game or the 3 minutes or whatever, then it's like, then he can get to the place where he's like, hey, we are finished now. No, we are finished. No, and like EJ might be there going like, oh, help you, daddy, or whatever. No, we made an agreement. You gave me your word. I gave you my word, and I do not break my word. I'm not a man that breaks my word. In our family, we keep our word. Okay. And we agreed that we were doing one game. We've played one game. It is now time for a bath. And EJ will absolutely learn, like dad respect parent mode and my fun best mate. And in fact, that will make EJ feel more secure with his dad and strengthen their relationship and build a true, genuine respect. Not a respect that you demand from him, but a respect that is genuinely earned through those interactions.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
We need to understand Larry can't just be thrown in the deep end and put in the hot water and be like, come on, set some boundaries. So for a little while, you have to manage that. And, I know that one thing that you guys want to do is, expand your family, right? And so I think it's really important for me to say right now that, and for you to highlight to Larry, that you guys have a small window of opportunity to prepare your only child for whenever it is that you have another baby. Okay. And so it is very unfair it's really unfair on the baby that the baby's needs don't get met because you're too busy meeting the 3-year-old's needs. The baby's going to have needs too one day. Okay. But it's also really unfair. And I use the word cruel. Like, I feel like it's cruel that we know our children have got these experiences coming in their lives and we don't prepare them for it. That's really unfair. And that causes sibling rivalry. And if his first experience of hard boundaries is no, bad luck, you have to wait, mummy's feeding the baby or something, and now it's just a matter of bad luck, that is what causes the 3-year-old to hate the newborn, because they feel like, you know, the analogy that I use, and you can use this with Larry, just so that you guys understand that if you want to build a family and go from an only child to, you know, 2 children or more, that it is our responsibility to prepare them for that. What things are going to happen? They're going to have to wait sometimes. They're going to be told fucking a hard no sometimes. You know, there's just going to be things that have to happen, right? And so it's really important that you do that, because for a child with going from 1 child to 2, after 2 and onwards, it's not so bad because they've always had to divide their attention with the other siblings. But going from 1 to 2, the analogy I use is this. That is like Larry came home to you and said, babe, I've fallen in love with another woman, right? I love you too. It doesn't change my love for you. I absolutely love you, but I love her too, okay? And I love her so much that I've invited her to live with us. And I know it's going to be hard for you to see me kiss her and hug her sometimes, but don't worry, I'll give you kisses and hugs too. And I know it hurts, but I love you and I love her, and I'm not choosing. You're going to have to deal with the fact that I want to live with both of you. That's the closest equivalent it is for a child emotionally to go from being an only child with the fun dad, for example, nothing but the fun dad, to the dad who's like, mate, stop it. Mummy's feeding the baby and I need to make dinner. Like, there actually is no chance for me to play with you right now. And it's unfair that as a parent, as an adult, you guys know that that time is coming. That's what you guys are planning for and wanting in your lives. And you guys know what that's going to look like. And it's really unfair if EJ isn't prepared for that.
Yep.
Okay, so that'll help Larry get some perspective and not feel so bad for hurting his feelings right now when he wants to play and he can't, because it's like, mate, you're going to be hurting his feelings in a year from now when we have another baby. So let's not put him in a position where he just feels so rejected by us because there's someone else here that we love too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Holly. Just quickly on the racing to go somewhere. Do you have any alternatives for that? I know you said it's fine, but I just feel like he wants to race for everything now because I have to use it, and often like it's the only thing that will get him to do it. So or a part of the program I need to revisit or something.
So not really, just replacing the behavior. So giving him something else he can do when he can't race. Okay. So instead of just like, let's race, you know what? We're not racing this time. Okay. Today, this is not a time that we can race, but we could count how long it takes for us to get to the car. How many seconds I think it might take? 22. How many do you think? Let's count how long it takes us to, you know. So if you can replace the behavior with another idea that you can do, so you're not just telling him what not to do, but you're giving him what he can. If you watch the video, but it's not in the pillars, it's in the video archives. It was just one of the spare videos that I chucked in there, right? And it's all on using the word no, saying the word no. And I give you like a whole lot of other examples on how to say no without saying no, so that their brain doesn't go into the feedback loop of, oh, you said no, but they learn to accept that, no, that's not happening. But you can bypass that resistance just simply by not using the word no, or by not saying, no, we can't today, or not this time.
I think it's more the strategy that I have to resort to say, let's race, to like get him to wash his hands, or like, because he's resistant to do the task, not because he wants to race all the time. But then that, I just feel like that's what we're instilling in him, that motivation to want to be first. And so that's what I'm trying to find a different alternative for.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Got to replace it with something else. Replace it with something we can do. So we're not going to be racing. It's not a competition this time. But how about we, he's 3, right? So we can do things like
Yeah.
how about we see how quiet we can be or whatever. So you can do something else so that there's always an option for him to be engaged at whatever actually inspires him and motivates him to be engaged, but it's not always a competition or coming first or something that you can't do. Like when you end up having another baby and you're 37 weeks pregnant, you're not going to be running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Holly.
No worries. Beautiful. All right, Miss Shelley, I'm going to open the lines and just talk to you for a second, just because you're new and I like to feel like I know everybody. So let me unmute your line. Can you unmute? Oh, yeah. Hello. How are you?
Hi. Good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. I would love to just get like a little introduction from you, just on like why you're here, openly and transparently and all those things. And
Yeah.
hear just a little bit of background, how many kids you have, how old they are, and just give us a little background.
Yeah. So basically, as you know, Cassie kind of got me onto you through, like, she's my neighbor, and I've spoken to her a bit about our kids, which are Georgia, she's 6, and Hayden, he's 8, and just basically wanting a change in the way I speak to them, how I communicate with them. Like I'm at that point with my son, and I don't know how to handle him. He's just so full on. And we're going down the road of getting him assessed for ADHD. And I just felt like I needed a better way of dealing with him and dealing with his issues and my issues as well. It, obviously comes from both of us, but just want to make our family better, family dynamics better.
Beautiful. Okay, amazing. And you said you've already watched the whole first pillar. Have you got to the part on like praise and those sentences around how to use descriptive praise and appreciative praise?
Yes, I think so. I did. I will have to revise back over it. I've forgotten a little bit, but at the moment I'm really struggling with finding my 6-year-old's love language, because she's very much a gift giver. She loves making things for people and giving them to people. Like, she's always bringing home cards and that kind of thing. Wow. But there's so many. I just wonder whether they can be a few of them without being dominantly one of them, if that makes sense.
And not so that they'll always be dominant in one. There'll be a one that's close behind, and the other 3 are almost irrelevant for them. But what happens is there's something called the adaptive love language, and that's probably what you're seeing in them. And it'll just take a while. Get stuck. Yeah. Through the program, always looking out for love language signs. I'm sorry, things like that, and you'll piece it together over time. But when they have so the younger a child, all children need touch, okay, and all children need quality time, and the younger they are, for the development of their nervous system, they like at a primal level they need touch. So the younger they are, the more they can appear like touch is their love language, for example. And of course, they don't understand that there's a universe that exists outside of them, and they're not the center of it, and all those things. And those are developmental ages in their brain, okay? Which means that if they get to those ages, they will always need the whole of your attention, and it's easy to go, oh, I think they're quality time, okay? So, but also if their love needs haven't been met in their language, what they do is, to get their love needs met somehow, they start to adapt themselves and they start to change their behavior into asking for love the way that you'll give it to them, not the way that they really need it. And that's how they start showing up as, oh, they've got 5 different they've got 4 love languages. I'm like, if you've a child, look, you can have a well-rounded child that can absolutely respond and be grateful for a gift, even though gifts aren't their language, right? But they can
Yeah.
be grateful for that. But if you've got
Yeah.
a child who's literally needing 4 love languages, they're in the early of being a people pleaser. Actually, they're just wanting to.
Yeah.
What do you need from me for me to get what I need from you? So go with your gut on that, at least for now. Look, pay attention, like her gifts thing. Pay attention next time she makes a mistake or hurts somebody or upsets somebody and she tries to apologize. Pay really close attention to I'm sorry language, like whether she comes
Okay.
tries to, let's say she hurts her brother or something, then if her love language is gifts, she'll make something for you, or she'll say, here, you can have my or you can have my Easter eggs, or like she'll look to like give someone a gift to be sorry. She might not even say the words, I'm sorry, I'm giving this.
No. Yeah.
They often won't even use the words, and sometimes it can be hard. They make a mistake in the morning and they sit with their remorse all day, and then like in the afternoon they start showing their I'm sorry language. And like if it's easy to miss the fact that they're making up now for what they did this morning because that guilt's been sitting with them the whole day. They might not say sorry immediately, and so it's easy to miss the link.
Yeah.
So just pay attention. But with your son, the most immediate thing that starts making a difference to every parent's relationship with their child is the so if you can't remember, go back and watch them again. But it is that pillar. Maybe you haven't watched him yet, but it's on the 3 types of praise. And so one is evaluative praise, and then so that's like the bad praise. That's where we say, oh, good boy. Oh, well done. Oh, you're so clever. Oh, that's amazing. So that is not helpful. And instead, even appreciative praise. And I give you lots of sentences. So you'll catch it. And if you want more ideas, you can go to the Facebook group in the search bar at the top and type in like praise. And then like there have been posts in this group where people have gone, can you please help me out with some more sentences? I'm trying to work out how to say this to my child. And it'll be about praise. So if you go and search for that, there's posts where there'll be all these people in the comments like sharing their ideas on like sentences to use that are based on those principles and things like that. So it just helps you.
Yeah.
That will help.
So how do you the other question was like my husband and I, we're just so busy in at different times of the day and that, and I never know when he's going to need my help. And so I can promise something to my son like I did today, and I've stuffed up, and I know I've stuffed up, and I promised that I'd play a game with him, and we ran out of time and I didn't get to in the end. And he goes, you promised and you've lied to me. And I'm just like, oh, I just stuffed up. How do I?
That's a good question. So you say,
how do I get past that?
Your answer is, you know what? You're right. I did promise, and you're right. We didn't play the game. And you know what? It doesn't make up for it, because I know that hurts your heart because you've been waiting for me all day and I didn't do what I promised I would do. But I do want you to, and I believe that your heart can feel my heart right now. I am sorry. And and then you can make it up to him. You know what? And I'm going to make that up to you. Okay. It might be, you know what? We won't have time for a game today, and I'm sorry, but what I will do is when it comes to bedtime, I'm gonna stay in your room an extra 10 minutes and we can read an extra book tonight. Or you know what, in the morning I'm gonna come and wake you up 10 minutes earlier so that once you're dressed, we've got 10 minutes spare so that we can play a game before you go to school in the morning. So like you need to make another time to make that for him. In future, how you avoid that whole situation in the first place. How old did you say your son was again, sorry?
He's 8.
Okay, so 2 things. This is what you can do with an 8-year-old. You need to you can probably even do it with both of them. As a family at like dinner time or something, you go, guys, you know what? Tell them the truth, right? Tell them that you're doing this program. Say, guys, I haven't told you this, but I want to tell something. You know what? I know that I've made some mistakes as a mum. And sometimes I've made choices that I'm not proud of and that actually hurt my heart to know that I've yelled at you guys. And you give them an example. You know, like last week when we went to the park and I got really cross, you know, I don't want to be that kind of mum. And so what I've done,
Yeah.
so important to me that I can learn how to be the best mum ever. You can even tell I've gone and paid like lots of money so that I can learn how to be a better mum. Okay. And I'm learning. And I'm going to tell you the truth about this. And one thing that I want to start with is I want to talk about our family, because something that I know hurts your heart is when daddy needs my help and I've made you a promise and then I can't keep my promise, because in our family, I'm guessing you've probably got horses or something, right? Or something like that. But we've got horses and we've got animals. And unfortunately, what that means for our family is we can't plan all of our days. Sometimes daddy needs help straight away. And it means that I have to break my promise with you. Okay. So we need to understand that this is our family, and our family get to have horses and we get to have things that other people don't have. And the downside is that means that I can't always keep a promise. Now, but here's what I'm going to do. From now on, when daddy needs my help, if I've made you a promise, I'm going to come and let you know. Instead of just not doing my promise with you, I'm going to come and I'm going to say, hey, I need to say something. I know I promised to play a game with you, but daddy has just called and asked for my help. And I don't know how long that's going to take. Or I know that's going to take a while and we're not going to have a time to play the game tonight. But listen, you are important to me. And it does matter to me that we still have some time together. So even though we won't be able to play a game, what I would love you to do while I'm out helping daddy is maybe you can choose a book we can read together, or maybe you can come up with it. Like, so give them something else they can do instead of it. Could be, but you know what? When I help daddy, I'm going to come in, it's going to be bath time. How about we all have a shower together? How about we have a shower together? It could be like you've got to have a shower anyway, and the kids have to have a shower anyway. So sometimes that can be your time with them, right? It could be, you know what? And in the morning, we've got to get up and go to school. But I tell you what, in the morning, the whole way to school, we will play games. So while I'm out helping daddy, you think of some games we can play in the car. We could play I Spy. We could play, Hangman. We could play guess what I'm thinking about. We could play when I went to the grocery store, I bought blah, 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 and then I add something to it. So because we can't play games tonight, you're important to me and I do want to play games with you. But remember, in our family, sometimes we have to help the horses and it means that we don't get to play the game. But find a way to keep so don't just not do it. Like let them know the goalpost is being shifted, replace it with something. Even if it's 5 minutes more, or I'll come into your bed and I'll give you a back tickle tonight for like 5 whole minutes more than what I normally would have done. Or there is a way that you can give them something and just use the language, you are important to me and it does matter, and I know that you've been waiting 2 hours for me to play that game, and I actually feel disappointed that we don't play together. We can't play that game, but you know what, we could play a quick game of like that only takes a few minutes. So there's got to be some other alternatives in all of that instead of them always being let down, because what will happen is if you don't find a way to at least let them know when the plan has changed, because that's what makes them feel let down, that they feel blindsided. They didn't know it was changing and then it just didn't happen. And then they're like, well, clearly I'm not important to you because you think it's no big deal. You're like, bad luck, no time for the game, let's go to bed, right? And so there's just no acknowledgement in my experience there as a child that you see I'm hurting, and I'm sorry it hurts your heart, and it's sad for me too. So number one, they just need the acknowledgement of that. But otherwise, what it does, if they get to a point where they just almost expect you to let them down, they'll stop having expectations, and that will transfer in his relationship with women 4 years from now when he starts getting a girlfriend and all of that, where they just, he will just not, if it's come from you because you're the mum, that'll transfer over into wounding that will play out in his life. Or he'll have women that let him down all the time, or friends that let him down, and he'll think nothing of it. He'll think and you one day you'll be like, why do you let her do this to you? Like, where's your boundaries with this woman that you're dating? And he'll just be like, oh, I just don't care. Like, I've just given up having expectations. Sense?
Yeah.
And I know that can
Yeah.
be a little bit for you, and I know that, you know, gets you in the heart a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the truth every time, even if it hurts, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. And I can make the changes now and change things for the future with him. So
So much.
that's what I'm here for.
A year from now, babe, 6 months from now, if you literally do this program, the people that are still here in this program 4 years later, like still on the screens right now on this call, have fucking like epically changed how they parent. Like it's so normal to them to talk this way now. It's not even a thought they have to think about anymore. The people that have had the biggest shifts and the most permanent, guaranteed, long-term, rock solid, won't ever change situations are people that have actually done this program twice. And some of them have done it 3 times. They've done the whole program. And then when you finish the program, at some point, you'll be called back to it. Because when you watch it a second time, the first time it kind of awakens you. The second time, you now already have an awakened perspective. And I've heard some of these women on here. I remember you, Adele, saying one day, I feel like I've never done this program. I can't even remember hearing what I just heard on that video, because what I just heard was so different. Like I watched the video the first time, but it clearly didn't land in me because I don't even remember hearing that. So, you know, if you really commit 6 months from now, you'll be different, and your kids won't even remember what you were like before. They won't even remember the days that you let them down and that you broke promises and that they felt like they weren't important to you. Like it'll just not even be a thing that their psyche holds on to.
Yeah. I hope so.
I promise you. The only thing that'll change that is that it's like going to the gym. Just because you pay for your gym membership doesn't mean you lose weight. You have to actually fucking show up and do something at the gym, right? Like you have to go there. So it's the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that if you're on these being exposed to this information all the time, you won't even know what embeds in your subconscious. And then one day I have all these people that are on the line right now that have all at some point said, I don't even know what happened. My kid just said this and then this happened. And then next minute they all say, Holly just fell out of my mouth and I didn't even know that I remembered that, but I sounded like Holly and I didn't even know that I remembered that. It'll just come out of your mouth.
Yep. Can't wait.
Excellent. I love that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, Adele was just writing. She was. Adele. Adele said, every time I listen, I hear something different. Even just jumping on these calls, I sometimes hear myself talking Holly. She was typing that as we were saying it. And Adele has been here. Like when Adele came to this program, just to give you an idea, Shelley, and I'm just giving you some extreme situations. When Nicole came to this program, I think she's had to hang up now, but when she came to the program, her 9-year-old son was so suicidal that they had to hide the knives in the house and they were seeing a psychologist for 5 years. When Adele came to this program, I still to this day remember that call that I spoke to Adele the first time, and she was crying. There she is. She's put her face on. And she was crying. Like I didn't know her from Bar of Soap. She answered one of our ads. And I remember you saying to me that day, Adele, you said, I feel so bad to say this, but I'm just going to tell the truth. I actually feel like I hate my son. I find it hard to love him. And I know that's so bad. And I don't want to feel like that, but that was the truth of where you were at, right? I literally will never forget those chilling words. Like I literally.
Oh God, I remember that.
Yeah. And at that time, like, you know, her son TJ, ADHD, ASD was like one of those problem kids at school that the teachers didn't like. And she was called to the school a million times as everything was a problem and all of this kind of thing. And within I remember Adele when he was like 12, he wasn't even a teenager, and like the consciousness of this kid, the way that he would approach you for conversations, the way that you could say, hey, that choice you made was really not okay. And you would go into these conversations with him, and he had so much self-esteem that he, remember when he stole money or something, Adele, or just before he came to the street, and he stole money from someone? But the way he showed up and owned it and you know, like actually said, like, you're right, I know I need a consequence on this, and all of those things was literally better than an adult. I could believe it, but it was phenomenal. And that was, and I'm saying this to you, Shelley, because I'm trying to highlight for you, that was one family in, you know, that were like, I hate my son. I find it hard to love him. He's just makes my life so hard and so inconvenient that I almost wish that, you know, he would just live with his dad or something, kind of a thing, like that feeling like it would just be easier for him to not be here. And I know it's ruining our relationship and I don't want
I
it.
was fucking up so badly, and I'm like, I just don't have what it takes.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, and what, yeah, he was just, it must have been 11, 12 when I joined,
Yeah. I think it was 11. Yeah. I think it was 11.
and he's 16 now.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
Like, absolutely. Yeah, he's like the bee's knees. He's the most awesomest kid.
Like
So
to the point where this kid like doesn't even have like or barely has or doesn't have, I've heard you say, he basically doesn't even have ADHD symptoms anymore, like does not have them. Nicole said the same about Xander, the one with the 9-year-old that I just mentioned. ADHD, ASD. There's a really good video on my YouTube channel with Nicole telling that story about him. Psychologist for 5 years, 5 weeks in this program, got results they couldn't get 5 years from a psychologist, to the point where that psychologist has referred people to this program. So that was, it was all just connection and understanding, you know, how to meet the needs.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's so much hope for you. But what these women did was they showed up, and they showed up every week, and they just, you know, there were days I remember Adele would be like, I've literally locked myself in the bedroom because my kids are going nuts out there, but I'm not missing this call, so I'll deal with them later.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Well, people, well, replay will go up tomorrow. If you're on the webinar tomorrow night, I know some of you have registered, and that's pretty cool. I love to see some of you guys there. And if you are getting on the webinar tomorrow night, I know Adele, I know you registered, and I think maybe Elle, maybe you did. Anyway, I know a few of you have, and I know Brooke has as a refresher. But if you are on the webinar, like, feel free to be as interactive as you want to be. Like, I'll be talking to the screen, but like in the comments and whatever, if there's any genuine moments of validation or something you want to share, so that people that are on that webinar get a feel for our community and what it's like to be in this community, you know, please do that, because that's you know, like, that's you being the messenger and impacting someone else's lives and changing the lives of other families. Because, you know, sometimes I'm just seen as the salesperson, or, you know, the person that's promoting herself or whatever. And so often people connect with what you've got to say more than they hear it through the filter of what I've got to say. So if you are on the webinar tomorrow night, feel free to have whatever conversation you feel is necessary in the comments, okay? All right, beautiful people. I'll see you back here next week. Otherwise, in the meantime, Facebook group. And yeah, Shelley, definitely go watch the praise videos again. If you've already watched them, watch them so that you like totally know them, and you can, you know, like, they're locked in your brain. They will give you the most instant shift that you will notice in a day. Like in 24 hours, you'll notice the difference. If you learn how to use descriptive praise and appreciative praise, you will feel a shift in 24 hours. Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
The webinar tomorrow, Amanda, best thing for you to do, it's a public webinar. It's like, I'll be promoting this program, and I'm making a really big announcement and things like that. And the webinar's all on discipline tomorrow night. Like, it's all on, you know, kind of everyone wants to know how to not yell at their kids and be angry. But it's going to go into a bit of, you know, how I talk about, you know, the reptilian brain and the mammalian brain and all of that, understanding, you know, why your kids don't listen when you repeat yourself 450 times, all of that. And I'm specifically going to be talking about discipline tomorrow night and why punishments don't work, and what you're doing to your children, even if you think they do work, because your punishments is the only thing that make them listen. They listen right now, but I'm going to really be very, very open and transparent about what damage that creates and where that's going to backfire on you when they're teenagers, and how unsafe they're going to feel in their relationship with you, in moments where they're in trouble as a teenager or whatever it might be. So if you want the link and you want to register, you have to register for it. You'll get the replay. Best thing to do is go to, I actually posted it in this group yesterday. I shared my personal profile into here. Otherwise, go to my personal profile. Like, go to Holly Noonan, and I just posted it tonight before this call, and I posted, you'll see it there. You'll see there's the link in the comments to register for the free webinar. Okay. But you don't have to. Like, you guys basically get more than that information here in this program. But if you want a refresher and you want to be part of it and you want to hear the new announcement and you want to hear why I think there's going to be hundreds of people joining this program a month from now on, then jump in the webinar. It'll be exciting. All right, beautiful people. Good to see your faces. Good night. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.